Hello, you lovely people, and welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about Olivia Dean. So you might or might not be familiar with Olivia Dean, but she's pretty great. She just last year released her album Art of Loving, which had about 3 or 4 incredible singles on it. Really, really good. She's just won a Grammy, kind of like flavour of the moment, really, and like weirdly. Well, not weirdly, but she is kind of beloved, like in a way that I've not really seen with too many other artists, apart from people like Adele. Kind of, you can't find anyone that doesn't like her. Like my mum likes her, I like her, Gen Z really likes her, really hypercritical music fans like her. She's liked by everyone, right? And I think the reason why this is the case is obviously because her music is good, and it is really, really good. But I also think it's to do with her authenticity, because we're very, very starved of authenticity at the moment. There's not that many artists who come through and emerge in what we would call a traditional, authentic kind of way by just being great. It feels like all of them have to have a gimmick or a viral moment or something that's hooky and feels replaceable. Do you see what I mean? Whereas kind of I think the reason that Olivia Dean is so loved is because her music and her brand and her character seems incredibly authentic. So what I want to do here is I want to explore, because I feel like there's not going to be many more Olivia Deans anymore. The way that the music industry is now doesn't foster that many artists like her coming along these days, really. It used to happen a lot more often, but now it's not as possible. So how many more Olivia Deans are we really going to have? I would say that that's not going to happen that much anymore. It's happening less and less already, right? So to give a bit of backstory on Olivia Dean. She went to the Brit School, right? Which is a publicly funded school. A lot of people think it's a private school. It's not. And she got signed by her management on the back of her graduation performance from that school. Obviously, the Brit School has a lot of scouting. A manager came along and was like her, let's work with her. From there, she went on to sing as a backing singer for Rudimental. Ended up doing really, really well with one of her singles. And then eventually in, checks notes, 2019, she was signed to EMI. So she was signed to her major record label 6 years ago. 6 years ago. So for any artists out there, and for all of you artists out there who are moaning, oh, I've had music ready for ages, but the record label isn't doing anything. Or, oh, I wish my record label would just let me release my music. Olivia Dean waited 6 years. She released an album in that time, in 2023, granted, but she was signed to EMI 6 years ago and is just now really exploding, right? People knew of Olivia Dean before her last album, but she's really, really burst onto the scene in her last year. That should be a lesson in patience. Patience. And in that time, did she blame the record label for things? She might have done, but she stuck with it, right? And here she is. She got a Mercury nomination in 2023. And then obviously last year, she released the album, which is her sort of pièce de résistance. This is going to be the one they remember her for, type album. And she won Best New Artist at the Grammys recently, which has kind of propelled her into a bit of an American audience now, right? So looking through some of the research and sort of interviews with her team, Olivia Dean never really had a viral hit. She didn't really have a big TikTok trend or anything like that. She had really, really good performance videos, really, really good content. And her songs eventually did end up going viral, but it was more off the strength of her kind of performances and her live stuff and the content she was putting out, rather than trend-based stuff, if you see what I mean. Her label and her management quite actively said from the start this was like they had no interest in really going for a TikTok trend, because her music doesn't really suit it. It's not really right. And I think this is why she's quite unique. If you look at all the other artists that won Grammys, new artists that won Grammys, I'm not talking about ones that have been around for decades, all the other new artists who won Grammys this year, people like Lola Young, Leon Thomas, even Doechii, she's not new, but she's quite new. K-pop demon hunters, right? All of them have had either kind of viral hits, they've trended in some way, or their music has trended in some way, or they're gimmick, or they've got sort of gimmickiness to them, which means that they're not that well placed for longevity quite as much as Olivia Dean is, because Olivia Dean doesn't rely on every song she releases going viral in the same way that some of those guys probably do. Lola Young, for example, as talented as she is, probably needs to have another viral hit. She probably needs another song to go viral on TikTok at some point, or that's what her label will certainly be wanting. Whereas Olivia Dean, I don't feel like that's such a problem if that never happens again, because that's not what her fan base are interested in. Do you see what I'm saying? The question is, though, how many more times will there be an Olivia Dean in the next 20 years? Olivia Dean is such a rare unicorn. She's ridiculously talented. She looks the part, absolutely. And she's wildly charming and likable. I don't know if I want her to be my girlfriend or like my best mate, or I don't really know. I just know that I want to go to the pub with her on a Sunday. She's a perfect blend of all the things that you need for that kind of artist, right? But the record label spent 6 years building it. Spent 6 years doing all this, taking this leap of faith, developing her as an artist, developing her brand, for the payoff 6 years later on this album, right? And I just think the way that we consume music now and the way that a hit is made now, that's going to happen less and less and less. And why? Okay, let's try and answer why. Of the Billboard Top 50 today, it's estimated that between 40 and 45 of those songs would have gone viral on TikTok first. So that tells you that TikTok, in the main, is the key driver in how we discover new music. And then, as we know, what then happens is record label A&Rs go through that Billboard top 50, cherry pick songs, sign those songs, sign that music or sign those artists, get remixes done, get edits done, push it. But then the artist struggles to replicate that again. Do you know why? Because a viral hit on TikTok, a lot of it's luck. That's what people don't want to tell you. But a whole lot of it is luck. Don't get me wrong, the song needs to be okay. Actually, that's not true. I've seen a lot of songs go viral on TikTok that are fucking awful, right? But the thing is, if the key reason that you have announced yourself to the industry is through a viral trend on TikTok, that is very, very hard to replicate. And you've not built a fan base who will follow you through. You've just had something that's been a moment and has, had a bit of a life of its own, but nobody cares about the next one. And that's increasingly becoming how we consume our music and how we consume our media. And record labels are having to play by that book. Olivia Dean is an example of probably an A&R at a record label really, really believing in an artist. And I bet that the A&R at EMI had to tell the higher-ups and the money people so many times, please, just have some patience with this one. I bet she was nearly dropped so many times. But eventually, it paid off. But because of the instantaneous nature of how we consume music now, and it is our fault, it's the consumer's fault, now record labels, they have to go for that one-off. They have to see that something is happening or has happened in order to keep it moving. There won't be that many Olivia Deans again.